$400 checks reached down incredibly deep and made that sacrifice. And we were able to get an amazing nucleus of donors here. As other candidates were falling off, some of those folks came over and started contributing to Senator Cruz, and we just had an event last Thursday in Newport Beach where we raised Senator Cruz about $250,000 in card $50. One of my favorite lines I heard was that a big donor who had not yet been involved said, "How much should you guys raise?" and found out that the number was about $250,000. And the question was, how's that possible? Because I don't know most of these people. So I think that's a hallmark of the Cruz campaign, is that it's bringing people back into the race that have been frustrated, that are tired of what we've seen from establishment candidates. And I think that there's an energy that's coming, and it's just been a privilege to serve as the Orange County Finance Chair. Any questions about finance?
When's the next event?
The next event is probably going to be sometime in May, prior to the June primary. Any other questions?
Well, get are we going to have a rally for the volunteers for Ted Cruz, the people who cannot afford $1,000 check?
I think that's a great question, and I defer that to Scalise. I certainly hope that the answer is yes, because as you know, the Cruz campaign has certainly not been a donor-centric campaign. It's a volunteer-centric campaign. So yes, I think everyone in leadership in California wants that to happen. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Awesome. All right. Thank you.
So to address the issue of rallies, non-finance kind of events, I said before that Orange County has really kind of been the center of the political universe. It really has been for the Ted Cruz campaign too, and obviously finance has been a big part of that. We do have a rally that is in the works in Southern California coming up sooner than later. Can't announce dates or anything like that yet. It's just something this is the way it goes. We don't announce that kind of stuff until we have all the details, because obviously we don't want anybody to be totally disappointed if it doesn't work out. But from a more global perspective, look, California is in play. If you haven't heard that yet, So California is not going to be just an ATM state for the last 2 months of this campaign. Not that it really has been. He has had a couple of more traditional grassroots events, but there will be more than enough rally opportunities, especially in the monster, the very heavily targeted areas, especially places like Orange County, San Diego, Central Valley, and whatnot. There's going to be no lack of opportunities. What I will tell people, and this is really, really important, especially when it comes to rallies or any kind of non-$1,000 a plate event. You got to be ready to act fast, because that's just the way these things go. And some of the folks I'm going to introduce you to tonight have come from battleground states like Iowa, South Carolina, New Hampshire. And one of the things that they'll tell you is that they got phone calls maybe on a Tuesday night to put together a Thursday rally. If that's the amount of time the staff is being given sometimes, regrettably, that also means that those who want to attend the rallies are going to be given only a little bit of time too. So, you just got to take advantage of the opportunities when they do come up, act fast. If there's a sign up involved, whether it's online or whatever the case may be, even if it's free, try to make sure you sign up right away. And commit yourself to going, because here's one other question I'm going to ask everybody. How many people in the room have ever truly been a part of a contested California primary? Not a lot. Not a lot. It has happened. It has happened, okay? But
what's the question?
How many people have actually been a part of a contested California primary? And how many of you are just used to the question that we got earlier? We're just an ATM state. They only come here to raise money, right? Okay? The center of the political universe is going to revolve around this state for the next 2 months. Without a doubt, you're going to see more than enough rallies. You're just going to have to be willing to act fast when you do hear these things announced, okay? Because they will happen, but you're going to only get as much turnaround time as we get, okay? It's generally a little bit less than that. So, yeah.
Will they all be on tedcruz.org under events? That's where I noticed they are right now.
Yeah, theoretically, yes. They will usually be advertised through Eventbrite, but we'll be doing things like direct email to people that have signed up on the website. If you haven't already signed up on tedcruz.org to volunteer, whatever the case, you definitely should. So, before going any further with that, what I'd like to do is I'd actually like to introduce the gentleman who is going to be in charge of Southern California moving forward for the campaign. And he'll be based right out of here in this office. Okay, he took the long drive from Florida. How many days did it take it?
Can't even remember.
He made a long drive from Florida, and he's got a really great history with the Ted Cruz campaign. In addition to being a retired Army captain, I'd like to call up Spence Rogers.
Being completely honest, whenever you say California, everyone in the other states where I'm from, we always think liberals and Democrats. So coming here and seeing all of you is just very, very encouraging for conservatism and for Ted Cruz and the country and the Republican Party. I was asked to tell an entertaining story. Alexandra asked me to tell an entertaining story. So here's my best attempt. My wife and I and our three boys, little boys, we sold our house in Tampa, Florida, bought an RV, and I said, you know, we're gonna take a vacation because I've been working hard for a very long time. So we take off, we head to the mountains in Georgia and Tennessee. I'm relaxing, and one of my friends from campaigns of yesteryear sends me a message on Facebook and says, "Who are you supporting now?" And I said, "I think I'm with Cruz." You know, I was still looking at everybody. I said, "I think I'm with Cruz. Nobody else is conservative and not someone I would choose." And so she goes, "Send me your resume." So I send her a resume because she knows me from what I did before. And the next thing, I get a call from Brian English, the state director of Iowa. He says, "Hey, I saw that you have the military experience on your resume. Because I helped with the surge with General Petraeus. I had a battalion operation, and I ran the first battalion operation." He goes, "I was originally looking for a field staffer to run field staff." He goes, "But I actually need someone that has the capabilities you have to build Iowa up quickly so that we can win." Because our whole campaign was based on saving money so that we can last as long as we have. And so we've lasted this long. Most people open up offices in Iowa, you know, right after the Iowa straw poll. And we didn't open up an office until like 4 months or 5 months until the Iowa caucus. So then, you know, with the Lord's blessing, all this stuff came in, all these people came in, staffers were hired. We had like 20 staffers, we went from like 4 to 20 staffers. We had strike force coming in. California was our second largest strike force state, by the way. All the people that came in from California to help us. And so, everything was going according to plan. We had all the evangelical endorsements, Congressman Steve King, Bob Vander Plaats, who am I forgetting? There's Steve Dace, radio talk show host, and of course we got the endorsement of the governor because he was against us. That was awesome. And everything was going according to plan except for Donald Trump. You just can't plan for a guy like that. And so he came in and he's leading in the polls. He's got all this support. His rallies are enormous. And we were in a ground game fight where we were fighting. We went through every single Iowa county, every single 99 Iowa counties Ted Cruz visited and spoke at. We had staffers coming in. We were doing tens of thousands of calls a day. We were doing thousands of doors a day. And in the end, they said if turnout was higher than 150,000, we were supposed to lose because of the Trump factor. Well, turnout ended up being around 180, 190,000, and we still beat Donald Trump. How does that translate to here? Well, we're still in the race, so our plan is going according to plan. The conservatives have consolidated around Ted Cruz. The rest of the Republican Party, thank you. Test. The rest of the Republican Party has consolidated around Ted Cruz for the most part, and it's coming down to California. Everything is coming down to here. And this kind of fight is going to be a ground game fight. We're going to get a lot of outside help at the last minute, but right now we need everyone in California to carry the weight until these other states finish up, Wisconsin, Indiana, Nebraska, and all the other ones, so that when all those other staffers get here and all the other strike force gets here, we've already done half the work or most of the work. Plus early voting, or your voting starts first week of May. And it's going to be a district by district fight. Delegates are chosen by district. So we need everyone to do everything they can, and together we're gonna win California. So the end of my story is that we won Iowa. And I did go up there, and we had a lot of great help from the Lord and from a lot of good folks. But and Jason, I want to say you put together an awesome organization in the state. So this is amazing. So thank you.
I was remiss to forget to introduce one of our elected officials. Dr. Ken Williams is here, over there in the corner. He's on the Orange County Board of Education, and he's up for re-election. So if you live in Villa Park, Orange, what other districts do you have? What other cities do you have, Ken? Tustin?
Anaheim Hills?
Anaheim Hills?
There's no one here.
Right? Ken's not there? No. Are you serious? I was too late. He was here. I'm very sorry about that. I was totally remiss. Are there any other elected officials in the room?
Explain to all the volunteers why it's so important for delegates and children to read per congressional district. But that, if you can understand, it doesn't matter what district, it really is district by district. Because if people see that we're behind, it really doesn't matter.
Hold that question for me, and we'll answer it at the end. I want to get the other staffers introduced, and I want to hand the mic back off to Jason. Here we go. Thank you. Sorry.
Thanks again, Alex. And I know we had a delegate-related question. I didn't hear it all that well, but yeah, sit tight a little bit on that. And we are going to have one of our guys actually talk a little bit more about the actual delegation process. But specifically, yes, this is congressional district by congressional district. Okay, how many people in the room have played some sort of a team sport before? Okay, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what position you play. Maybe if you play tennis and you play number 1 singles or number 3 doubles, you get 1 point if you win. Same thing with golf, same thing with wrestling. Okay, you play any sport like basketball, one guy can have a bad day and everybody else can pick it up for the team. Well, in California, it doesn't matter if it's a super liberal district, like I live in Congressional District 14, which is basically San Mateo County. No, thank you. I appreciate your condolences. No, I have to the north of me Nancy Pelosi. I live in Jackie Spears District. To the south of me Anna Eshoo. No, but I moved there for my wife, So, anyways, but more importantly, 3 delegates in my district are worth the same amount as 3 delegates in Dana Rohrabacher's district. So that's why when Spence talks about the importance of a great ground game and being very, very early and proactive about making the calls to the